Good afternoon. My name is Evelyn Angry Smith, and for those of you who I don't know, I'm a librarian here in UCC. And it's my pleasure this afternoon to introduce our author, Ronald Baker Jr. And I want to tell you a little bit about Mr. Baker. He's the executive director of the New York Stock Exchange. The New York Stock Exchange is a financial literacy program based in Brooklyn. The Stock Exchange teaches kids competitive basketball skills and the fundamentals of investing in the stock market. His new book, Stock Exchange: How Inner City Kids from Brooklyn Predicted the Great Recession and the Pain Ahead, examines the stock market and the U.S. economy through the eyes of the kids of the New York Stock Exchange program. Library Journal calls it an intriguing work. Let me just show you the cover here. I'm sure Ralph has stories about this cover. Okay. So the Library Journal calls it an intriguing work meant for those seeking an introduction to the causes of recession and problems of the economy today. Stock Exchange recently received honorable mention for nonfiction in the prestigious 2013 New York Book Festival and the 2013 DIY Book Festival. Mr. Baker, who was also small college All-American in basketball, has one son and resides in Brooklyn. Let's welcome Ronald Baker.
Thank you for the introduction. When I got the call from Evelyn, I was so excited. I didn't know what to do, but I reached out to librarians around the country. Apparently, after the Library Journal book review, I'm just getting calls from libraries everywhere. So books in libraries around the country, which I'm ecstatic about because it's really aimed at kids, aimed at students, college students, grad students. That was my target market. So, and Evelyn called, I was stoked. Really excited to be here. People, when I do these book talks, people want to hear about the book, but they really want to hear about the author and the background and the story behind the book. So I'll sort of give you a little bit of my background. I grew up in a small town called Farmville, Virginia, which is about an hour south of Richmond. And Farmville is sort of it's famous because among Black historians because W.E.B. Du Bois did a study there in 1800s. He was commissioned to do a study on Black progress after emancipation. And the most famous one he did was called the Philadelphia Negro. That was the most famous one he did. But the one he did before that was called the Farmville Negro. He did a study of my hometown. And back then, tobacco was king. And it was a happening place, like a lot of, in the Black Belt section of the state, in the southeastern part of Virginia, or central part of Virginia, a lot of African Americans were doing well. And my hometown was one of the places that 3 blacks had lived like 30 to 40 years before emancipation. So that's what it was known for. It was also infamous because it was one of the 4 lawsuits, the Brown versus Board of Education lawsuit. People think Brown was like one lawsuit, it was actually 4 lawsuits. One was in Delaware, one was in North Carolina, one was obviously in Hampton, and the other one was in my hometown. That was the one lawsuit that was led by students. So that's a little bit of my background, where I'm from. I went to Hampton City College, which is private liberal school in Virginia, one of 3, I think, 4 schools in the country now. Majored in economics. I played basketball, and I was considered probably the best guard in the country when I was there. And I studied economics because, the liberal arts program, I studied economics because I figured it was something that you would need if you wanted to ever go into business. And after that, I went into retail banking. All my friends asked me, why are you so hung up on banking? And I told them, because that's where the money is. And I learned a lot about the financial system, how money works, credit, how credit works. And back then, I worked at a bank called Sovereign Bank, which was, I used to tell people, it was the biggest bank in the state of Virginia, which was a big deal back then because there was no such thing as these too big to fail banks. It was all interstate banking. And so if you worked for the biggest bank in North Carolina, the biggest bank in the state of Virginia, it was a big deal. Citibank was the 800 pounds. Everybody sort of followed Citigroup and Citibank back then. But it was a big deal to work for the biggest banking in the state of Virginia. And eventually, the interstate banking laws kind of came down in a de facto kind of way because a lot of banks were failing, similar to this. When I came out of college and when I went into business school, the economy was kind of similar to this. The Gulf War, oil prices were high. I remember when I came out of business school, I lived in Stamford, Connecticut, and I was complaining about gas prices at $1.31, which was pretty high back then. The gas was usually like 95 cents, 90 cents, something like that. But the economy was similar to this, and there were a lot of banks failing. And what happened was that the healthy government paired the healthy banks with like the failing banks. So maybe a bank in North Carolina would acquire a failing bank in Texas. So, and de facto kind of way, interstate banking laws came down, and that kind of started the mergers of all these different banks. So the bank I started with Sovereign, ended up becoming CNS Sovereign, merged with Bank of Atlanta, and ended up becoming Nations Bank. After we merged with NCB, and now it's part of Bank of America. So after I left the training program in Virginia, I worked in Washington, D.C. I was a manager of a retail bank. I was like maybe 23, but like I was about 19 maybe, and managed people twice my age. Ended up going to business school at the University of Virginia. I wanted to get the sort of corporate finance and analytical skills that I didn't get at the bank. And the retail side was allowed to manage people, so I got good managerial skills. But business school gave me analytical skills that could give me a career for Wall Street, which is what I really wanted to do ultimately. When I came out of business school, again, the economy was really bad. Darden was like one of the top schools, maybe ranked 7th in the country when I went there, University of Virginia. And previously, back in the late 80s, if you graduated from business school, you get like 5, 6 job offers. When I came out in '93, you were lucky to get one. So, no Wall Street banks offered me a job. I was lucky to get a job with a company called GE Capital, which was in Stamford, Connecticut. It was quite the luckiest actually that happened to me. I got great training. And a vice president would flog me every day. And I would be up to like, 12 midnight, 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning every night, and trying to figure out what I got myself into. I was doing working on these huge deals. Some deals were public, some deals weren't, $80 deals. So that was pretty rewarding. Working with a strong team, people who trained me and took interest in me. And the guy who was flogging me, I hated him because he had it in for me. And 10 years later, I called him up, tracked him down, called him up, and thanked him for making me none of those models. I used to work with 50, 60-page spreadsheet, analyzing these deals. These insurance groups, I worked in a financial institution group, and we used to buy these big insurance companies for General Electric. And that's where I pretty much cut my teeth. And he taught me to do it the right way. I mean, sometimes I would like take a shortcut and show it to him. He'd take a look at it and said, go fix it. Just look at it, like, this isn't right, go fix it. And he got me up to like, every night at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And again, I look back 10 years later and thank him for it. So I spent the majority of my 3 years with GE in Stamford and New York City. And majority of my career was still doing insurance deals, but different various companies. I eventually did deals across all industries, asset management, brokerage, insurance, domestically and internationally. Got a chance to travel, Europe, Asia, all over the place. And while during my time in Stanford, there was a couple guys who, one got to Duke, got an MBA from Duke, another guy got an MBA from Wharton, who started like a AA basketball called Stanford Express. And it was a way for me to give back to kids. I played basketball in college, and also we made sort of education. We would try to take the kids all around the country playing basketball, and they loved it. Kids loved it, and they thought we were from like Mars someplace. We all had gone to college. A lot of stuff we talked about was about getting education. That's all we talked about. And they just moved from like, out of space. Like, who are these guys? And they all worked at General Electric. And a lot of them had, a lot of them didn't really have anybody in their family who went to college. And a lot of these kids who nobody really interested in previously, maybe freshmen in high school, ended up getting scholarships. We were like Texas Tech, Fordham, Iona, Drake, all over the place. So it was, I got as much out of it probably as they did. And I basically promised myself that if I ever had a son, I would start a similar program for him. And in 2006, I did. So maybe like, I guess maybe 7 years later, I started New York Shock Machine. And I call it New York Shock Machine because it just gives like big stocks. And my son, probably like, I guess he was like in the 5th grade, he said, you know, that's the dumbest name I ever heard. If you don't change it, I'm gonna quit. I'm not gonna play for it. We were like laughing stock in the neighborhood. Like people were like, what is the New York Shock Machine? What is that? Nobody could figure out what it was. And I told the parents, I took some kids from a little recreational league I was coaching in. I told all the parents, so look, we're gonna teach kids how to pick stocks, and this is how it's gonna work, I laid it all out. And again, they looked at me like I was from Mars. Like, why do you care? How's it gonna work? And why do you care? I mean, they didn't really know my background. They didn't know I was a dad who coached my son on the weekends. They didn't know my educational background. And I didn't tell them because it wasn't about me, it was about my son. So I basically got a couple guys who I went to college with. I also got my cousin, who eventually ended up going to war. He was working at a naming boat at the time. He joined the board. Nobody wanted to do it. I basically told him if he didn't do it, I was going to call my uncle and complain. So he agreed to do it. And after the practices, we would teach, we would, you know, talk to the kids about their stock picks, what companies they liked, what companies they didn't like. And we talk about these great investors like Peter Lynch, who worked with Fidelity. And his philosophy was you should always invest in companies that you know. And he's legendary because he was the first guy to kind of beat the market every year for like 10 years. It never been done before. And he took from Fidelity from maybe a couple $100 million to like billions on the strength of his investing products. And his thing was that he would invest in companies that he knew. He would invest in those products that his wife used. They would go traveling on vacation and they would stay at the Quality Inn. Or maybe another hotel nobody had heard of. He liked the service, liked the product, so he go invest in it. And that's how he kind of beat the market every year. So I talked to the kids about, you know, we're going to pick stocks that you understand and that you know about. And I kind of figured we kind of groundbreaking. I wasn't sure. You know, I went to a website and I documented it, everything we were doing, documented all the stock picks and why I picked it. We would meet after practice. We would have formal meetings sometimes. And they were interested, you know, normal company like Nike, GameStop like that, which I hadn't even heard of, Apple, which I thought was dead. I mean, it was almost gone bankrupt. Only product they had was an iPod. And I tried to talk them out of it. Like, you know, I literally thought that people were going to think I was picking on the kids because, you know, I was like expert investing. I've been all around the world. You know, I got my MBA from the best business schools in the country. The kids were crying, like, you're just trying to make fun of us. You're obviously going to beat us, so on and so forth. And I picked a company called Phoenix Insurance Company because I thought it was going to be taken over. It wasn't based on any fundamentals. Then we talked to kids about, you know, price earnings ratio, earnings growth rates, and stuff like that. How to actually value stocks. And the company could be a very good company, but it may not be a good investment. So we would break it down between, you know, price earnings ratio and growth rate. So the price earnings ratio is at 10 times PE. Earnings ratio is 10 times PE. You expect the company's growth was like 10%. So we took their 9 or 10 investment ideas and boiled them down to like GameStop and Apple. And I picked Phoenix. We also did like what I call it top-down analysis. We looked at the economy and things that could affect the stock market in their particular picks. Like looked at things like housing starts, auto sales, like big ticket items that drive gross domestic product. And from an economic standpoint, I know that these big ticket items like housing starts, auto sales make up a huge component of gross domestic product. If you don't know anything about the economy, you just track those two items right there. You can pretty much track the direction of the U.S. economy. And a lot of people talk about the stock market, talk about the economy. Not a lot of people know a whole lot about it. And back then, nobody really cared about economics. It was like a lost art. Everybody's talking about these statisticians who could come up with these formulas to predict these housing prices. That's what Wall Street does, these quant jobs. Nobody cared about economics. So the bad part about the financial crisis is that it's for economics. I mean, it's painful. But the good part is that it's what's economics back into the fold. And everybody cares about it. And so guys with economic background are like in demand now. People who can understand this stuff. It's money. You know, make a long story short, a year later, GameStop had returned like 85%. Apple had done like 110%. My stock had done like -2%. And the kids there, they got a big kick out of that. They were loving that. You know, we showed Coach Baker. He didn't know what he's talking about. And you know, we started making news around, you know, throughout New York City. We actually became more known for what we were doing off the court than what exposure from like Black Enterprise. They came calling. He wanted to do an article on it. They did a big article, I think in June, I think in July 2008 issue. And basically everything the kids predicted actually came true. Everything he said about Apple. We go do due diligence trips to Apple store in New York City. We go to GameStop, talk about the new products that they've had. And we go to Apple store with new products and talk to the salespeople, what's selling, what's not selling. Everything they predicted, they basically said that the iPod was a status symbol. It was going to put every other sort of, I guess, multimedia player, whatever you call it, out of business. I literally thought that Microsoft was going to put Apple out of business again, because they had a product called Zoom. We were arguing, we would debate, the kids would tell me, you know what you're talking about, Mr. Baker, Coach Baker, you know what you're talking about, because, you know, the iPod is status symbol, everybody has to have it, and blah, blah, blah. They're talking about GameStop. You know, we can go buy the games in the stores. They have the most knowledgeable salespeople. The competitors, like Best Buy, I don't know what they're talking about. They also have a used game market where you can take your used games and sell it back to GameStop. A couple years later, there was an analyst from Forbes who did a write-up on GameStop. And he said verbatim what the kid said. I mean, it was like almost like if he lifted it off our website. And verbatim. And looking back, it makes sense because kids understand trends before adults do. Like, while my son told me about YouTube, he told me about Twitter, he told me about MySpace, he told me about Facebook. And while I'm talking about Twitter and Facebook, they're on something else. I don't know what they're on to. Whatever they're using is a publicly traded company. That's the stock to get into before everybody else knows about it. Because Facebook's not cool anymore because their aunts and uncles and moms and dads are. They don't want to use Facebook. They're on Instagram or whatever they're doing. Because kids understand trends before adults do. They always want to do the new thing. And everything we talked about as far as the sort of economy, I never really, I had even on the background, but I wouldn't go around looking at housing stocks, auto sales on my free time. And I wouldn't talk about it at work. Every time I mention something about the economy at work, people look at me like, you got to talk about it. Nobody cared. And around 2006 or 2007, now everybody cares. Now you can find housing starts. And when you open the Wall Street Journal, you can see housing starts, unemployment rates, consumer confidence in the U.S., China, Egypt, every country, everybody's tracking the economy. In 06, 07, nobody cared. Everything we predicted actually came true. And we saw these really bad signs for the U.S. economy, for housing starts and auto sales, and nobody was talking about it. So when I had my website, I was blogging about the team in our investor meetings. I didn't really blogging about the economy. Then nobody was talking about it, so I started blogging about it. I'm talking about, this is really bad. Nobody's talking about it. It's scary. And the next presidential candidate was John McCain and Hillary Clinton, like I guess post-7 or 8, if they want to do something substantial, to do something about this. Obviously, we do something with oil prices and find alternative energy sources. Also invest in infrastructure. Because we have crumbling infrastructure. There's also a way to, which we need to do anyway, invest in roads and bridges. There's also a way to put people back to work. And then after Lehman fell, all of a sudden, everybody talking about the economy. When nobody had an increase. And when Senator Obama eventually became president, guess what he says his linchpin to economic growth is? Infrastructure investment. But he never talked about it previously. So when I was blogging about the economy and stock market, I started noticing also the politicians and Wall Street guys, I'm basically saying what we were saying verbatim. So I figured I better put this in a book before someone else does. And that was the genesis of the book. I wanted to write a book anyway. I wanted to write a book when I was coming out of college about African Americans in general and basically economic expansion after slavery and Great Migration and so on and so forth. I never got around to it. I also wanted to write a book about everything I knew about Wall Street. But some of these in the book in general were things that I studied back when I was in business. When I was in business, I read every book about Wall Street known to man. So this crisis and a lot of things that changed in policy that triggered it happened in the 30s. This is nothing new. So a lot of stuff that's going on now actually happened in the 1930s. And that's what set off guys like FDR. People don't know, the general public don't know that. That's what set off guys like FDR, Carter Glass, who was a senator from Virginia, Harry Stigl, who was a congressman from Alabama, Herbert Hoover. So a lot of stuff almost happened verbatim. A lot of people don't really know that. I actually got around to writing a book. I knew how much work it was going to be. I do my own research. Most people, when you write these books about finance, the economy, they have a whole staff doing research for it. But I had to do my own research. It took me about 2 years. I learned a lot about the book too. The first person I called was my high school English teacher, who used to flog me or crack my knuckles like in high school. I told her, I'm not writing a book that you sign off on. I'm not showing this to anybody that you sign off on. I'm kind of superstitious like that. She agreed to do it. Her husband had actually written 3 books, which she had edited. So she agreed to look at it from like a structure and flow standpoint. Then I got a copy of it and go through a line by line, line by line editing of my manuscript. And then I called a couple of publishers. Was so excited. And you wouldn't believe it. You may find out but nobody wanted to publish my book. Nobody knew me from Adam. Who are you? Like I remember calling one publisher and said, my name's Ralph Baker. I had a great idea for a book. And it was a dead silence. I was on the phone. It's just like, why are you calling me? And the way my high school English teacher put it to me is that publishing houses are not in publishing. They're just making money off people. So you have a name out there, you're Ray, or you're President Obama, or you're Hillary Clinton, or you're going to get a Federal Reserve. Yeah, they're publishing books. They know how to sell. And so I basically had to self-publish. Well, she suggested I do anyway because you keep up profit. Rather than someone else make profit from your work. You're going to sell it anyway. You're going to have to market your book anyway, whether you were a publishing company or not, and they take most of the profit. So yeah, it took me 2 years to write the book, which it was pretty well received. After the Library Journal picked it up, all of a sudden everybody's interested in it. But the book is basically generally my background and the history of my hometown, which you have to understand why I come to certain conclusions. Get a history of Wall Street from the 80s till now, through today. Talk about the progenitor, what I call the progenitor of the financial crisis, like the mothers, the investment banks who make dumb decisions, the insider traders. When I started GE Capital back in the day, sometimes I would go to a Bloomberg machine and I would just for fun, look at deals that just been announced and look at the trading volume. The trading volume is going like this, like a week before the deal is announced, it spikes like that. That's because somebody knew something. And people have been, and it's like it's an outrage how much white-collar crime actually goes on that nobody talks about. So I talk about the insider traders. I call big cash no cattle, these Ponzi schemers like Bernie Madoff, Alan Stanford, and go on through what I call contritionists, people who now apologize for all the mistakes that they made. And then the last part, the pain ahead, what's going to happen next. I sort of, early in the book, I talk about the U.S. economy when I came out of college, the housing starts and wholesale, and how the economy reacted to lower interest rates after Alan Greenspan lower rates. And I compare it again at the end of the book how the economy looks today, and sort of compare the 2 different sort of economies. This tough recession when I came out of business school, and then how it looks today and why it's different. So that's sort of, I don't want to give too much of the book away, but that's sort of what the gist of the book is. And I wrote it, partly because I think people need to be informed. I wrote it, and I had my mother in mind who didn't have a degree in economics, but I wrote it so that someone like her could pick it up and understand it. I think people need to be informed. Because like I said, a lot of what's happening today, it happened in the 30s. It's really nothing new. And my generation has made a lot of bad decisions. I'm embarrassed, to be honest with you, by my generation, that decisions we made is going to now, you guys are going to run with that. And I'm hoping that your generation can make better decisions than my generation did. At some point, I'm going to get too old to make decisions for myself. And you guys are going to make decisions for me. You have to, you have to step up to the plate, and you're going to have to, you have to make decisions for me and my generation. And I hope that you make better decisions for my generation than my generation did. And the way to do that, you have to be informed, first of all. So that's pretty much what the book's about. And I guess, like I said, general reaction has been, it's intriguing because we've been talking about this before everybody else was, and these kids from the inner city to make it, and why they made it, and the buildings that they were doing, and they sound like almost like investment animals. Really, I mean, there's stuff they were saying about Apple and GameStop. So people were really intrigued by that. It's like pretty compelling type of stuff that I documented like back in 06, 07, 08. So that's pretty much what it's about. And I'm proud of it. I hope if you guys take a look at it, I hope you give me some feedback as far as what you like, what you don't like. I'm as interested in what you all think about the book as maybe what you are. I want to know your feedback. Because a lot of it's like my own arguments, my own ideas. Some of it has been in the making since I was in business school. Some of the arguments go back from the early 90s when I first got out of business. So I'm curious what people think. I'm curious about what young people think about it. So we can take a look at it. And I'd love to hear what you like about it, what you don't like about it. I'd like you to tell me, somebody tell me you know what I'm talking about, Mr. Baker. I like to somebody find something wrong. I agree with this, I don't agree with that. But again, I would like to inform people so that, particularly young people, so that they can make better decisions in my generation. Any questions? I don't want to stop the applause. I'm embarrassed. See that? I'm embarrassed. Stop. I'll start with Evelyn since she put all this together.
Could you talk a little bit about what you think the leadership of the country of lack of leadership?
It's non-existent. Leadership. I have a section in the book called talks about the lack of leadership in this country. I don't know what's driving it, but I think I'm not naive. To be a politician, you have to. There's some salesmanship to it. You have to basically tell people what they want to hear to some extent. You have to be popular. But I also think that sometimes you have to stand up for something, and you have to say, "This is what I stand for." And you may have to be right and lose an election, and to tell people what you think they want to hear and win. I think I talk about leaders of my generation. What do you like that we didn't like? Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George H.W. Bush. You always knew what they stood. This is what I stand for. This is what I'm going to bat for. And they tended to have like some life experiences that backed up what they believed in. Not, let me think. I wonder what the public thinks about high oil prices. I wonder what the public thinks about this, and then kind of like tailor your speeches to what you think the public wants to hear. Somewhere between my generation, I guess, the gap that the leaders of my youth and today, it sort of evolved into what I would call winning. Like people mix up winning with leadership. Like President Obama got elected, and he must be doing something right. I think it's an outrage, particularly. My focus has been like on financial reform. Like it's something called the Glass-Steagall that was overturned back in the mid '90s. It should never have been overturned. That was a law that Herbert Hoover suggested. I think it was around 32 or 36 election, and FDR actually signed it into law. But Carter Glass and Harry Steagall actually put the bill forth, and FDR signed it into law that separated investment banks and banks to make sure they don't take the wanton engagement in wanton speculation in the dirty anymore. And they overturned it in the late 90s. Bill Clinton signed off on it. Bill Clinton didn't push for it, but he signed off on it. There were guys like Phil Gramm, what I call the Republican Revolution, Phil Gramm, Bob Dole, were pushing for the overturn of Glass-Steagall because, that was 30 years ago. That was 40 years ago. But what's in the Bible said, what's in a man's gut is who he is. Wasn't an investment banker's gut today was there. It wasn't an investment bank we got in the 30s to fleece the public. It's still there. And I think it's an outrage that, we haven't come at the class, Steve. I think it's an outrage that all the white crime that's gone on. I talked about in the book when I first when I was in GE Capital, there was a guy who lost like $250 million. His name was Joe Jack. They brought Joe Jack. They should have. He was a bad trader. They brought him from the NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, the SEC, clawed back all his bonuses, and they tried to, and basically got him banned from Wall Street. That didn't happen this time. And Jack Welch and the judge, Carol Fox Fuller, who decided the proceedings, Gary Lynch, who also was involved, was a former, I guess, big wig at SEC, they set important legal precedents that we didn't adhere to this time. So we got President Obama talking about we can't have a strong Wall Street without a strong Main Street, and he's talking about hope and change. When I hear hope and change, I hear, one of the greatest jingles ever. To all beef patty special sauce, let it cheese, pickle onions, and sesame seeds. Where's the beef? Coke gas, it's a jingle with nothing behind it. And I think it's, we have no credibility abroad. We're allowed to stop at the world. I've been around the world. I've been all around the world. And people have pulled me aside. I don't know why they pulled me aside and talk about, America and what they think about America. We're allowed to stop at the world. They see the hypocrisy. We're going to go tell Syria. We can't sort out Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley and these investment banks and these commercial banks who commit all these white-collar crimes. We can't sort them out. But we're going to go sort out Syria and Egypt. They're laughing at us. It's like, we're like every neighborhood has one. The lady in the neighborhood with 2 kids, 2 hellions. They're going to jail. They headed to jail. They use foul language, disrespect their elders. And she's walking around the neighborhood talking about whose kid needs to be disciplined. That kid's out of control, that kid needs to be disciplined, but she's raising 2 hellions of her own. And it's like a pink elephant in the room. Nobody says their name, but it's like, we had a lady like that in my neighborhood. It was hilarious. She's trying to discipline everybody's kid. You can't discipline your own. So before we can sort out, Egypt and Iran and Iraq and North Korea and South Korea and East Korea and West Korea, we should start with our own country. But that's not popular. That won't get you elected, and don't won't get you reelected. That's why I say maybe you need to be right and lose an election. Because I think if interest rates go to double digits, I think President Obama has potential to run to one of the worst presidents in the history of this country. That's what I think.
Well, good afternoon, Mr. Baker. I'm Mark Hart. I teach business and accounting. I have some class students here from financial accounting. Sorry for the tardiness. We start at 12:30, so we brought the class in. So you've got some entry-level business students, financial accounting. They may have missed some of your background. Could you maybe go back, tell a little bit about your background, give them some bits of advice, and talk to that audience?
Well, I got my PA in economics from Hampton City College, a liberal arts school, private liberal arts school, and I wanted economics because I thought it was something that you needed in business. Didn't have a business degree there, but I did have economics, and so that's really it's part of my DNA. So when you stand in front of the class, the first Econ 101 class, the professor says, people are rational, writes it up on the board. And basically, that underpins every assumption in economics. Everything they tell you is, about price and demand, price and supply curve, or demand curve, or the market potentially consume, whatever terms that they talk about, which I use in the book, is all based on what a rational individual would do if demand and supply equilibrium and demand changes or supply changes. It all depends on what a rational individual would do in terms of those different dynamics. So that's sort of part of my DNA. I worked in retail banking at Sovereign Bank, which eventually became Nation Bank, which was the largest bank in Virginia at the time. Became CNS Sovereign, and became Nation Bank, and that's part of Bank of America. Then I got my MBA from the Darden School of Business at the University of Virginia. So that's sort of my background. I spent my career doing M&A/corporate finance. Started out with GE Capital in Stamford, Connecticut, which was, I should have paid them for the training, to be honest with you. So that's my background. my dad sort of, my introduction to financial literacy, my dad taught me how to read the Wall Street Journal when I was like in the 5th or 6th grade. And he wasn't nice about it. He just threw it at me and said, read this. And figure it out. And he drilled me on it every day. So I started the New York Stock Exchange to teach my son about financial literacy. It's a basic travel basketball team. We teach kids how to pick stocks. So that's the genesis of the New York Stock Exchange. And financial literacy, and understanding the stock market. I'm not saying I'm not trying to make anybody an investment banker, but it's a life skill. It's like if you don't know anything about automobiles, and you take your car to a mechanic, you're going to take it. You don't know anything about houses, and you have someone build your house, a contractor will rob you while you're looking at it. And if you don't know anything about the stock market, and you go give your money to a broker, you're going to get taken. And everybody needs to know something about the stock market in general, because there are no more pension plans. The company's not going to take care of you for life. You're responsible for your own investment. When you go out and get a job, you're going to have a 401k plan. They're going to give you the background and the plan. You pick whatever stocks you want to put in or bonds you want to put in, and you're responsible for your own retirement. And there are people, I have relatives whose life savings have been wiped out during this financial crisis. So that's my my business background, and that's sort of that's how I look at things. That's important. That's why I want to give you sort of background of economics, how I perceive things. But you know what? I think you guys are the future business leaders of the world, of the country. And again, like I said earlier, I hope you guys make better decisions for me than my generation has made. Because I'm embarrassed by my generation.
On the way to work today, I caught an interview with an author, and I didn't come in at the beginning, but he wrote a book about a future state of America in which he said, we talk about the 1% and the 99%, well, maybe like the 15% versus the 85%. There will be opportunities for people who are extremely talented, extremely ambitious, but there will be very few second chances for people. And to me, working at a community college, that was worrisome to hear. I'm wondering what your take is about the future.
I think definitely potential for double-dip recession. So I'm looking at, like I said, those big ticket items that drive the economy. The thing that I wrote the book with open mind, and the part that really scared me is that when I looked at housing starts, going back to the 50s, housing starts had never dropped, 1 million ever. And going back to the 50s, they dropped, I think, during this last recession, to as low as 650,000 housing starts. But it never dropped below 1 million previously. Because that was due to so much speculation on housing. And credit dried up, and then, because corporations were speculating on housing. And there was easy money, and then Wall Street was buying these loans in the secondary market. But nothing but basically, speculation. I think for when people talk about housing and rebounded, they're talking about rebounding from a very low level. They're talking about it's not hard to rebound from record low levels. You know what I mean? So I think just looking at those big ticket items, I think this is the best it's going to be. Interest rates are at record lows. What's going to happen when rates rise? When you look at our country, you have politicians who make laws that benefit those industries that they want to work for. If you look at, let's say H.W. Bush, when he left the White House, went to work for the Carlyle Group, which is a private equity firm. His vice president, Dan Quayle, works for a private equity firm called Cerberus. Bill Clinton went to work for private equity. Al Gore, his vice president, went to work for private equity. Chelsea Clinton, his daughter, went to work for private equity. It's just a trend from from Washington to Wall Street. And then you have the president who's kind of hands off when it comes to, again, it's white collar crimes going on. Because he wants to do the same thing. You can guarantee he wants to go work on Wall Street. And you have politicians on bid with certain industries, and they make policies that benefit certain industries. At one point we had debt to GDP at like 98% during this crisis. And during the Reagan era, when people complain about military spending, it got like maybe 51%. 98% would make Reagan blush. You have some people who get locked up, and some people don't. You have, we have, in this country, we have like maybe 1 in 3 black men in this country been locked up, and you have some people who don't get locked up. If I describe that to you, that sounds like a banana republic. It doesn't sound like the United States, it sounds like a banana republic. And what rates would a banana republic borrow at? I would lend a banana republic money at maybe 17, 18%, 19, 20%, but not 2%, 3%. So if rates go to double digits, I think we definitely see a double dip recession. And if you look at those industries that used to provide jobs, like autos industry, we don't really have the dominance in autos and big ticket items that drive the economy. I think housing is as good as it's going to get. So I think it's going to be dire over the near term. Hopefully we'll pull out, but I don't think, you look at just industries that provided jobs 50 years ago, those industries are not there anymore. So all the jobs are outsourced overseas, or countries like China or whatever have been more dominant. So where is everybody going to work? Everybody can't work in a service economy. And that's really what our economy is. So how many people can actually make the transition from manufacturing base, from manufacturing the economy to a service economy? I think that's basically what it boils down to, just doing the math, and how many people are going to be left out of this service economy going forward. And I think that's why Wall Street firms and these private equity firms and big business were so rabid about getting these bailouts. Because this is all like the Titanic. Either you have a life vest or you don't. And that's kind of what it boils down to. I don't see it getting better anytime soon. I think it's going to get worse. And so it is what it is. I don't feel an emotional way. I think just from an economic standpoint, it's going to get worse. And I think people need to be informed about it. And they need to be informed of how they vote, how they save their money, how they spend their money.
Question, actually I'm an economist too. I majored in economics at the University of Connecticut. Now I live in higher education, but the lens through which I view the world and the way people make decisions is informed by that. So the utility decisions that they make. Could you talk a little bit about, if one is economic theory, there's a theory that suggests there's kind of the similar form to the human body, that there's shoulder to head and then the other shoulder, and that we're kind of coming back down, and is that referring, when you look at periods over time, that there's kind of this replicated cyclical nature of the economy, and that allows economists to predict that we've got 10 years of the shoulders now, something like that. And then the other piece that if you could share a little bit about the independent publishing process. There may be students in the room that have what it takes to write a book. If you could share a little bit about that journey of independent publishing.
Sure. I looked at the recession of the late 80s and early 90s. That recession actually started probably around 87, 88 when housing starts and wholesale started to decline. Nobody really noticed. And it kind of went like, from the research I've done, it looks like housing starts, wholesale decline, GDP decline the same year. Then next year, unemployment starts. Okay? And then what the government did back then, they started lowering interest rates. Well, President H.W. Bush asked the Federal Reserve to lower rates. They didn't. And when Clinton came in office, they lowered rates, and that helped to spur, the economy. But back then, the biggest difference is that a lot of speculation that a lot of failed banks. The speculation was in LBO lending. There was a lot of LBO lending back in the late 80s, like leverage buyouts, where maybe companies were getting bought out at, let's say, 8 times what I call operating income. Then it was 10 times operating income, and then it was 12 times. And banks were cutting in more and more and more. And there were a lot of banks that were failing because of leverage buyouts. And when banks started failing, they retrenched. They stopped lending. There was also a lot of real estate speculation that happened in the New England area. It went right on down to Washington, D.C. It skipped North Carolina and then sort of some of the United States and hit Texas and California. But a lot of speculation was commercial real estate. And that's what helped the economy to bounce back quicker, because individuals weren't speculating. And there weren't a lot of people in the stock market right then. Everybody's in the market now because they have exposure to the market from 401k plans. So when the market declined, the market crashed in 87. There was a lot of individuals who weren't exposed to it. They weren't picking stock from the refrigerator, and they didn't have 401k plans back then. Now when the stock market crashes or declines, a lot of individuals get hurt. And there was a lot of months of speculation in individual housing this time. So that's why I think when I look at the session of the late 80s, early 90s, bounce back like you would expect. I think this is going to kind of bounce back a little bit off a low base. It's going to double dip because interest rates, like I said, interest rates are extremely low, and this is the best it's going to get. And this rebound was manufactured by the U.S. by the government. I mean, it's painful, but it's quite. If you're like economic major, like a business major, this is the best time. You're never going to see a period like this again where so much is driven by what the U.S. government is going to do, what the U.S. government is doing in terms of bailouts of certain industries over others, then certain regulations like fracking that maybe they would not have considered years ago to allow it now. So much is driven by the U.S. government and government spending. When they pull away the spigot, it's quantitative easing. When they pull it away, what's going to happen? I think rates are going to rise. When they pull it away, what's going to happen? How much do they rise and how quickly? And then also what a foreign is going to do, because China owns a lot of our bonds. If they stop lending to the U.S., what's going to happen to rates? And China has its own problems. They don't have a nurse, like a senior like any senior facilities. This concept of nursing home, they don't have. So they have to invest in a lot of money in infrastructure to build nursing homes to support senior citizens. They're going to have about 300 million senior citizens in about 20 years, which is almost the size of the U.S. They have no infrastructure whatsoever. And what makes it even more damning is that you have one child rule. So now you have maybe one or two kids, one kid who's responsible for their parents. They don't have, that burden is not shared around across 3 or 4 children. They also have a shadow banking where they have people who have been coming to lending money outside the banking system, which is I think is going to come after biting the ball. So they may pull some of that money that they invest in abroad and back onshore. So I think, like I said, the book is called Shock Exchange on NC Kids from Brooklyn, and the Great Recession and the pain ahead. I think it's pain ahead. As far as I think the charts in the book too, you can see it. As far as the self-publishing, and in a lot of ways, self-publishing is kind of the new disruptor. It's disrupting a lot of the publishing industry. When you see books like 50 Shades of Grey that become bestsellers, books that never would have seen the light of day, previously, because of all the technology makes it easier for people to self-publish and put it online. So my book is on Kindle, it's on Kindle, Nook, all that. So previously the publishers would tell the market what was hot, they should be reading. Now consumers are telling publishers what they want to read. So my process, when I went through self-publishing process, I was already predisposed to it because my high school English teacher told me to self-publish it. Don't let somebody take all your money. I called a couple of publishers who, why are you calling me, guy? And you also, the normal process, you hire a literary agent who goes around marketing book to publishing companies. So somewhere in that chain, I'm big on, knowing who I'm working with, particularly in New York. Somewhere in that chain where you're dealing with a literary agent, or you're dealing with a publishing house, you don't know what you're doing, you don't have anybody, your father doesn't publish a book, not part of your DNA. It's always a risk you're taking. You're not getting what you're paying for. So with the normal process, you hire a literary agent and you go market your book to a publishing house. Now people just like you have like 2 different markets of self-publishing, because you can be misinformed about all the rhetoric out there. There are some people who I call hybrids. They're getting a lot of publicity where You know, you publish a book with, you publish 5 books with Random House. All right, you have a name and a brand out there. You decide, I want to self-publish now. You have an option to self-publish. To me, that's not self-publishing. That's more like a hybrid, someone who has a brand, they have contacts with all the book reviewers. But even book reviews is very important to be taken seriously. I can tell everybody about the greatest book in the world, but when Library Journal says it, or the New York Times says it, it's a different sort of, you know, there's a different sort of credibility to it. So you have relationship with book reviewers, and you have a brand out there, and you know how to sell the book. And then, but you just decide to self-publish it. That's not, to me, it's not self-publishing, it's more like a hybrid. Self-publishing is like someone who doesn't have an option to go to a publishing house. So I'm going to go out and do it myself. And I ended up working with a company. Several self-publishing companies out there who you send them the manuscript, they'll bind it. So I wrote the manuscript, sent it to them. I got the book cover done. And they put it, and they basically bound it. I didn't do it myself, they bound it. Okay, and so the cover is basically my son, he was probably like in the 6th grade. And we took a shot at him in Brooklyn, outside in downtown Brooklyn. And that's like, he's also the logo for the team, like a silhouette. You know, the other part about self-publishing, there are some barriers in that I sent my book to like a couple, like the New York Times, Washington Post. They'll tell you straight up, we don't review self-published books. It still has, in some ways, it has stigma attached to it because people feel like in the past, it was like considered vanity press, where like I couldn't get my book published with a publishing house, so I wrote it myself. Like, I just feel like writing a book about my family. And whether it sells or not, who cares? So it also has a, when you go to the publishing house, it has the perception of being winnowed, of gone through the process of being winnowed or cold, like the publishing house says, we have 100 books. You know, we don't think these 20 make the cut, so we're going to publish 80. So it has a perception that somebody else has already winnowed the books that maybe not worth being reviewed, not worth being published, where self-publishing doesn't. And then all the other things that when you want to read your book review, like a reviewer from the New York Times or the Washington Post or London Review of Books does not want to talk to an author. You know, and they shouldn't have to, really. They want a buffer in between. Okay, they don't mind telling a literary agent or telling someone from a public company, we love the book, we don't like the book, we're going to do a review, we won't do a review. They feel more comfortable talking to an intermediary than they do talking to an author. But if you want to publish a book, I mean, you know, I think a lot of barriers have come down, and the self-publishing process has become a disruptor. The thing I would advise is that it seems like common sense, but apparently people still think self-publishing is somebody who just did some, I wrote a manuscript and then did some arts and crafts and like put like some cover on it and a cover on some glue and maybe like some 3-hole punch and like spiral bound or something. Get you a copy editor. I can find a copy on Craigslist. I got someone from Viacom, comes from a non-traditional background. Never copy edited a book, but she does copy editing online for Viacom every day. Anything goes online for Viacom, she copies it, and she has to take a look at it before it goes online. So I got a copy editor. I got a professional company, a book baby. There are a lot out there. Smashwords, Book Baby, a couple other. You can do your own research to find what's best for you. That put together professional books. And then I'll get someone else outside the copy editor for free. That's basically what I do with my high school English teacher. She edited from a structure and flow standpoint. She basically said, why is this there? It's not like I just talked like I was in high school again. Why is this there, Ralph? This is too long, this is too short. We need some transition to go from, you're talking about the team to the pretty changes in financial crisis to the pan ahead. You have to have some smoother transitions in there. And I took everything she said. And but that you should, just because it's self-published doesn't mean you have to look self-published. I think that's what people are. I mean, a lot of people in the industry are sort of concerned with like book reviewers and so on and so forth.
The young people that predicted the stocks, did they pursue degrees or careers
going to college now. My son's a freshman at Lehigh University. A couple other kids just started college. So I don't know if they will or not, but they do. I think my main thing is to give them a love or give them an interest in it. They may come back to it later on in life. I don't know if they're, my son wants to be an engineer. That's what he's pursuing. But whether they pursue something in finance or not, I'm not interested, but I would like them to they've got a taste of it. They didn't know they were getting a taste of it. They got a taste of it, and it's something that they can use for the rest of their life. They know that nobody can come to them and say, well, you should buy this stock. We'll give you all your money. They know that. So that's really why just give them an introduction to it. And hopefully, some of them will. But they do have a working knowledge of how the market works and how to invest. But what I'm most proud of is that I feel like they learned a lot, and that somebody took an interest in them. When you talk about youth mentorship, mentorship is not something that's very, very structured. It's like you could be mentoring people, kids. You may not know you're doing it. On the way to and from games, they watch everything you say, they watch everything you do, how you dress, how you carry yourself. So you don't really know at what point you're actually impacting them. But they loved it. I mean, going to like GameStop and Apple, and picking their brains, and they would say, "You're trying to make money off of us, aren't you, Coach? You're taking our ideas and you're trying to make money off of it." Yeah.
Do we have any other questions? Thank you, Brad.
Thank you. I really enjoy all the questions, and everybody seemed pretty interested, and I hope you get something out of it. And like I said, if you have any feedback, please let me know.
Ralph's going definitely around here for a little while, and we've got books for sale. Cost of the book?
It's $30, but $25 for students.
Okay. That's fine. We have some refreshments.